Whoops. Hey, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we have the high-grade Universal Sentry MSN-042 Nightingale from Bandai. Released in July of 2021, piloted by Shar Aznable, or better known as
Shaga! Shada! Sha! 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 あれがシャーか。シャー・アズナブルと言ったな。
Well said, Amuro. The Nightingale is like an alternate reality Sazabi, appearing in the novel Char's Counterattack, Baltar Chica's Children, a book I never read, so I'm not even going to bother explaining. All that being said, let's start the review. Beginning with the box. And as you can see, it's quite a large box. For a box size comparison, here it is next to a Master Grade Curios box, which is usually the generic size for a Master Grade box. And here it is next to a Zoid's HMM box, which are usually bigger than Master Grade boxes, but still ain't nothing compared to the Nightingale box. The size alone is pretty impressive, but get a load of that box art, man, that thing looks pretty cool. We've got a pretty intense space battle going on, and the Nightingale is having a one-on-one with the High Nu. God, I need to get my hands on the real grade High Nu. And this iteration of the Nightingale is the 1/44th scale, in case you didn't know. Now taking a look at the side of the box, we've got the Nightingale all painted up, with some panels showing off the extras and gimmicks that the Nightingale has. We also have the kit displayed in a couple poses, so that'll be pretty fun to do and try and emulate, which is a pretty good indication that this kit is not just a brick. Unless it is. We'll just have to take a look and see. On the other side of the box, it highlights the weapons that this kit has. And having lots of armaments is always a good thing. Those who tell you otherwise are crazy. And we got panels showing off some cool Vulcans on his chest, some micro missiles, some hidden arms, and some extra details. From the looks of the box, it looks pretty good. Unless you have trypophobia. There's also a wall of text for a brief summary of its whole history. And that's it for the too informative side of the box. Now let's look at our lobster. Fully equipped, straight build, panel lined, and I used as much of the stickers as I could. And for a kit of this size, surprisingly, not much sticker usage. All were pretty much easy to apply, with the exception of the red stickers on the propellant tanks, just because you have to align them a little more carefully. And despite being a very large kit, at least in high grade standards, it was very quick and easy to build. The kit only comes with 11 runners. Much of the kit is molded into large plastic pieces, so the assembly was very fast. Deceptively fast, because it only took me like 4 hours. There were no difficulties with the build whatsoever, and no problematic nub marks or seam lines to take care of. And the final result looks really good. And here it is next to an anime depiction of it. Maybe a shorter butt, but a longer dick. Yep, it's another kit with a dick. And it serves no purpose, except for a couple thrusters and vents on the tip. Yeah, awkward design choice. And the kit's already awkward. Now let's remove all the weapons to show you the full silhouette of its body. This thing's just very big. Big feet, big wings, big butt. No, not just big. Huge, ginormous, humongous. So big that it needs its own stand. Yeah, that's a pretty big dumper right there. The overall design is definitely unique. Kinda reminds me of a red beetle bug lobster thing. And speaking of red, there's a whole lot of it. And unfortunately, there's not much colored part separation, or panel lining opportunities to break up all the sea of red. Zooming in, you can see little to no surface level detail on this kit. Much of the Nightingale is made of just large smooth pieces of plastic. I can definitely see some people scribing their own panel lines in this kit, just to add that extra level of detail. In terms of colors to contrast the red, we just got gray on the joints, and yellow for the thrusters, with a lot of black everywhere else. I find the color combination rather simple, but it works for this kit. Considering all of suits being red, it's expected. Even though the red armored pieces don't have much detail on them, the exposed inner frame definitely does. Though still minute, it's very nice to see, and could definitely use the paint job to bring out the extra details. Though it lacks a lot of surface level details in its design, you can find nice design elements on almost all the underside of the kit. I mean, look at all the details under its feet. Ignoring the dog hair, it's really nice that they put in this much work on the underside, and looking from below, we can see some extra cool design elements in the thrusters hidden right under the red armor. Also, it's really nice to see this level of detail underneath the butt, as well as the front skirts. All of these designs could easily be overlooked, just because the main focus is always on the outer appearance and nothing really underneath. Overall, in terms of appearance, the Nightingale's a big red boy with a big red crotch rocket. The surface level detail is lacking, but that's just fine. Keep in mind, it's still a high grade. And though it lacks exterior detail, nice design elements are still implemented throughout the kit. Though, does this justify the price? Cause this kit is pretty expensive. Coming up to $120 Canadian, this kit is more expensive than master grades. So let's continue on with the review, see if there's enough characteristics and design elements for this model kit itself that can justify the purchase of this. So next up, articulation. As for movement of the head, it's able to look this far up and down, very minute, and since the head is attached on a ball joint, the neck could extend and retract like so. You are also able to adjust the mono eye of the Nightingale, just remove the head, slide up the top portion of the head, thus revealing the eye, and you could rotate it. Not needed, but very cool gimmick. And for the top portion of its head, it's able to move up this much. The Nightingale has such a very unique head structure, and due to the design of the head, it can't do a full rotation, however it still has a good range of motion, and a pretty sick side profile. For the shoulder pauldrons, they're only able to move up and down. Unfortunately, no lateral movement, and as for shoulder pauldrons go, pretty plain, so it's a good thing that they added thrusters here. Moving along to the arms, it's able to do a 360 rotation at the socket, and the arm is able to internally and externally rotate this much, and because of the weird design of the arm, the shoulder joint can't do an adduction or abduction, though this is kind of rectified by adding an additional joint on the bicep. Like previously stated, not a traditional arm design, but it works. And since this kit is so big and awkward to work with, I'm just going to remove the arm. And yeah, I'm going to be doing this a lot for the other parts. As I stated earlier, here's the bicep bend, and the joint has pretty good range of motion. The upper part of the arm could fully 360 rotate. The arm could straighten up this much, and we have this much of an elbow bend. Pretty good. The hand is on a ball socket joint, and it functions like how you expect it to. Capable of 360 rotation, but limited wrist bend. For torso movement, because of this protruding black piece in the back, it can't do a full 360. Though limited, the upper torso rotation is still very good. It doesn't need to do a 360 anyways. I consider it a pass since it's able to do that despite being so big. Though same can't be said about the ab crunch and side bend, because there is none. But there is a flappity flap that can move, revealing the Mega Particle Cannon! Right over here. Waka 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 waka. Alrighty, turning this around to take a look at the back, which is the most interesting part of the kit. You can see that for my trypophobic viewers, there's a lot of thrusters, and lots of holes. I guess it makes sense to move this monstrosity. For movement of the wings, we got a 360 rotation, and the wings are able to bend backwards. Here's a top-down view of what it looks like. Excellent range of motion in my opinion. The 3 external propellant tanks on the back are attached on by a ball joint, so they have some 360 swivel movement. Just watch out because they do have the tendency of falling off. Moving along to his lower body, I'm just going to remove his torso. This makes it a lot easier to work with. Side skirts are on a ball joint so they can swivel about, but they are also very prone to falling off. The front skirts are also on a ball joint and move similar to the side skirts, but they also have a hidden gimmick. Underneath each front skirt hides a sub-arm, consisting of 3 major segments, which gives the arms excellent range of motion, and the arms also sit on a sliding track, allowing them to be extended quite a bit. And yeah, you can use the arms for something pretty cool. It looks ridiculous. Ridiculously awesome! Now moving to the back, if we flip the butt upside down, we can see that the giant propellant tanks can move. And though serving no real purpose, it's cool to have. I guess aiding in more dynamic poses. Speaking of dynamic, here are the splits, or as close as the splits can be for this guy. Not bad considering how chunky it is. For leg movement, I'm just going to remove it. Makes it easier. The hip joint could 360 rotate, knee could bend and extend this much. Pretty good considering the size. Front ankle armor can move up and down. Both toes at the side have independent movement. Another feature that it definitely doesn't need, but it's nice to have. As for ankle mobility, here's the dorsiflexion and extension, which is surprisingly good. And it has a decent side-to-side ankle pivot. And that's it for articulation. I didn't have to disassemble him, but it made it considerably easier. In terms of articulation, the Nightingale is surprisingly pretty good. Really easy to pose, and it holds those positions no problem. I thought the bulkiness would impede its range of motion, and don't get that wrong, it still does. However, I was still pleasantly surprised. Well, with all that boring stuff now out of the way, let's see what the kit comes with. As for accessories, we've got this many. Firstly, we got a left and right holding hand, used for the melee weapons. Next up we have a left open hand. I don't know why only one, but yep. And to even that out, we got one right trigger finger holding hand, only used for the gun. Lastly for the hands, we got a pair of clenched fists. Now for weapons, we got the Mega Beam Rifle. And based on the size, it's definitely mega. The rifle itself got some nice surface level detail that's etched right into the plastic. And it comes with a foldable bipod, which is attached to the rifle on a hinge, giving it additional movement. However, the attachment point is kind of flimsy, so the leg does fall off pretty easily. Not sure how practical a bipod is for a giant robot, it's still pretty cool. And to equip the rifle, you're going to need the trigger finger hand. Firstly, disassemble the two halves of the hand. Then slot the peg of the hand right into the hold of the gun. Now reassemble the hand, stick the hand right back in, and voila! Big gun for a big guy. Alrighty, next up we got beam sabers. 2 long generic beam sabers, and 2 short jagged beam sabers. These are much easier equipped than the rifle. Simply slide them right into the holding hands. But why do they give you 4, you might ask? As shown earlier, there are these sub-arms right underneath the skirts that could hold them. And they're held the same way, just slide them right in. So we can start pulling off these poses. Zoro's got nothing on the Nightingale. I don't mean it, Zoro, I love you. Rightio, next up we've got the shield. Good looking 2-tone colored shield, and it has a very similar design to the Sazabi shield, albeit just not as detailed. Flipping it around, nothing amazing to see here, just the adapter piece, stuck on a ball joint, and the micro missiles that are attached to the front. Attaching the shield is very easy, there's a slot right over here, and it attaches solidly right into the forearm. And I guess being a big red target, a shield definitely helps, especially one this size. Lastly, for the final equipment, we have the Beam Tomahawk. Now this is a very cool weapon, the beam effect part looks so good on this. Not much to say, it's a simple and cool design. Additionally, you also get a couple extra beam effect parts. They attach the same, and you're given 2 different lengths of blades. Though I prefer the Tomahawk version, having additional blades is always a good bonus. I gotta say that the Beam Tomahawk looks absolutely amazing in the hands of the Nightingale. And when not in use, the Tomahawk handle can be stored under the shield. That's some nice efficiency right there. Though that's it for most of his main weapons, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the Nightingale if I don't mention its funnels. And yes, they are all detachable. Too bad there isn't a special effects set you could buy for this kit. Feel like some wasted potential here. Alrighty, last up we gotta talk about the kickstand. For the butt, or the butt stand, whatever. And this piece is super important because it has 2 major uses for displaying the Nightingale. Firstly, the stand essentially has a giant foot at the bottom of it, which is on a hinged joint, and it's essential for sporting the giant butt while the Nightingale's freestanding. For the kickstand, you're going to need to attach it on this top peg over here, while using the second peg on the side exposes the action base adapter. You could then fold the foot in just to give it a more flush appearance. And before you attach it to an action base, you're going to need 2 of them, just because this kit is so fat. Disclaimer, action base not included. And to attach it to the bases, I highly recommend you disassemble the torso from the lower body. And because I'm using action base ones, I need the adapter for it, of which this kit did not have, so I had to make my own. I pretty much used this adapter, which is included in the action base ones, and snipped off that little small part on the top. And it fits perfectly fine. Next up, just line up the arms for the action base, and carefully attach the kit. This is significantly much more easy to do when that giant torso's off. And why go through all that hassle, you might ask? Because surprisingly, the Nightingale looks really good in a flying dynamic pose. Okay, since I just gave you the rundown with everything, let's shake him up! But first, let's try to find a place to grab this guy. Alright, got him, go! Well, so far so good. And again. Surprisingly, this kit is super solid. Not a single thing fell off. I half expected the side skirts to fly away, however that didn't happen. The arms and wings drooped down a little, but that's okay. Rock solid kit. And with that out of the way, let's start with the size comparison. Here it is, towering over the entry grade ARC 782. Yeah, Amuro definitely needed the high new. And here it is next to its alternate reality counterpart, the real grade Sazabi. Very similar in height, not in width though, and not as detailed as the Sazabi. Next up, here it is beside a master grade Zaku 2.0. Gives you a perspective of how big these 1/44th model kits are. And here it is next to a figurized standard War Greymon. Next up we have DK, Haro, Doraemon, Egbert, and the floating bulb. As for shelf presence, just because of the sheer bulk of this kit and the relatively bright red, it's definitely an eye catcher. However, because of its size, it's going to take up a lot of real estate. And so we come to the end of the video. For my final thoughts, should you buy this kit? Firstly, I'll state the negatives. It's hella expensive, for high grade, pretty much being even more expensive than master grade kits. I understand because of its size, the amount of plastic used for it definitely inflates its price. Even though the kit comes with a lot of cool extras, I can see the pricing being the only deterrent to this kit. And maybe the design. But why are you here if you don't like the design? However, if you can overlook the big price tag and you fancy the design of the Nightingale, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't pick it up. It has a very unique appearance. The main armor pieces might lack a little surface level detail, but the other side in the back definitely still has no merit. Color might be a little dull, but it is Char's suit after all. Damn it, Amuno, go away. Char's not here. Anyways, continuing on. The Nightingale is a giant suit. That's super easy to build. And it's rock solid. The kit comes with a bunch of weapons and extras, matched with a decent level articulation, makes posing this kit super fun and easy. And there you have it. It's a really good kit, and I'm glad I picked it up. I can't wait to get it paired up with the real Great Hainu. Everyone seems to be loving that kit, so yeah, but those things are selling like hotcakes and I always miss out. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching my videos. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Let me know what you think. I don't often review high grades, unless they're big, and this one's big. I like everything big. That's what she said. Thanks again for watching my videos. Take care. Bye.